Dakota Dempsey Biography speech. Helen Keller was known as a woman who became blind and deaf when she was a child, and she overcame those disabilities and had many accomplishments. At the age of only 19 months old, she became ill and it left her being blind and deaf. I have always found her and her life very interesting. I think the way that she tackled her disabilities is one that is worth remembering. In this speech, I will be talking about Helen Keller's personal life, her accomplishments, and how she overcame her disabilities. First, I will discuss Helen Keller's personal life. Second, I will discuss her accomplishments and how she faced her disabilities. Although Helen Keller was burdened by the loss of her hearing and vision at such a young age, she overcame these disabilities to live as normal as possible. According to Biography.com, Helen Adams Keller was born on June 27, 1880, in Tuscumbia, Alabama. She caught brain fever when she was 19 months old, and this resulted in her becoming blind and deaf. Until she was 6, she had very limited communication skills. She would have many outbursts of anger towards her friends and family members. Some of her family even tried to convince her parents that she should be institutionalized. At the age of 6, Helen's parents acquired a tutor for her, Miss Ann Sullivan. Helen began learning right away. The first word that Miss Sullivan tried to teach her was doll. She would spell out the word by writing the letters in her hand and then hand her the object. She was very curious to learn many new words, but she would also at times refuse to follow Miss Sullivan's instructions. Although it was very difficult, Miss Sullivan would make her follow through the routine many times. This angered Helen more than ever, and her outbursts drastically increased. Miss Sullivan had a talk with Helen's parents and encouraged moving her to a house where they would have no distractions. This would help Helen learn to focus only on Miss Sullivan's instructions, and she would not be disturbed by anything else. Although it was very difficult, the outcome of moving Helen resulted in her learning more than ever that would benefit her future in so many ways. Now that I have informed you on Helen Keller's personal life, I will inform you of her accomplishments. Helen Keller had many accomplishments after she had learned to communicate well with people. In 1890, Helen Keller started attending school. She took classes at Horace Mann School for the Deaf to learn to speak and communicate better with others. She would practice for 25 years to learn to speak clearly so people could understand her. In 1894, she also attended Wright U. Mason School for the Deaf, where she took regular classes to further her education. She was considered the first blind and deaf person to earn a college degree. After Helen graduated college and earned her Bachelor of Arts degree, she wanted to make an impact on other people's lives. She started sharing her story and experiences with people everywhere to help other people that were living with disabilities. Along with Miss Ann Sullivan, she published a book about her life called The Story of My Life. Miss Sullivan accompanied Helen throughout most of her life, even after she taught her. She assisted in many social and political issues, and she even testified before Congress. In 1920, she also helped found the American Civil Liberties Union. She received many honors for all of the things she accomplished. She received the Theodore Roosevelt Distinguished Service Medal in 1936. She also received the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1964. And she was also elected into the Women's Hall of Fame in 1965. She died in her sleep in 1968, just before her 88th birthday. As Helen Keller said in her book, The Story of My Life, "Do not think of today's failures, but of the success that may come tomorrow." Helen Keller faced many obstacles in her early childhood, but she overcame them and did not give up, even though she was blind and deaf. She had so much success throughout her life, and she has her family and Ann Sullivan to thank for that. In conclusion, Helen Keller is famously known around the world today for accomplishing as much as she did while being blind and deaf. She is remembered for being able to communicate in so many ways despite her disabilities. She was still able to live a long, fulfilling life that many people admire and remember to this day.